Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Sexual assault and sexual harassment in the military. Let's talk about it. I seen a sergeant major who basically a post about a sergeant major that basically had her in full uniform. I have it on my page. Check it out. And her mouth is covered up, blackened out, and it says, iAmvanessaguillen. Say her name. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about sexual assault and sexual harassment in the military. And let's talk about this case as it unfolds to this point right now. So we have a young PFC that was murdered in an arms room on Fort Hood that was, I guess, hit with a hammer, put in a trunk, and then taken to a lake, chopped up, and then discarded. We have another young soldier who was supposed to be, I guess, the assailant who actually did the actual situation. So I'm trying to wrap my head around some things right now. So maybe y'all can help me out. So I'm trying to figure out what did this person, this young black man, see inside this arms room that could have put him in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I know what you're thinking right now. Well, did Vanessa Guillen, I hope I'm saying her name right, was she murdered by this young black man? And I'm kind of not convinced right now. I'm kind of not convinced. I see a young black man who killed himself because he was surrounded by a bunch of policemen that decided to take his own life. So I'm just trying to figure out, something don't sound right. Something don't sound right, and maybe y'all can help me out. We definitely have to have a tough love conversation. Y'all share this, because I want to talk about military investigations, and I want to talk about this young soldier's death. So if you know anybody in the military, if you're affiliated with the military, this conversation may be for you. Soldier dies in an arm room by another soldier. So a female Hispanic soldier dies by a black soldier on a military installation in an arms room. And nobody sees nothing. Nobody hears anything. For some reason, the black soldier, the male soldier, used a hammer and killed the Hispanic soldier and put her in a trunk. Now, my thing about it is, if you're beat to death with a hammer, there should be a lot of blood. There should be a lot of blood. So what's being said is he put her in a trunk, left post, and came back later on that night. I'm just trying to figure out how many arms rooms can young soldiers get into late at night. How many arms rooms? If you don't know what arms rooms are, that's where you keep all of your military weapons. Sometimes you have ammunition, etc., inside this locked arms room that's supposed to be at least NCO or higher has access to. So I'm trying to figure out, how is this soldier able to come back at night and move the alleged body? So I was listening to this 2-star general talk about the allegations in regards to sexual assault and sexual harassment with Vanessa, that, they're unfounded right now. And, right now is just the fact that, this young soldier has killed her. I don't believe that he's guilty. I'm on the fence right now. I just don't believe that this soldier walked inside an arms room, beat her with a hammer, all because she said that she was going to tell the chain of command that he was sleeping with a woman who was married to a former soldier. It makes no sense. It just makes no sense. And when you talk about hammers and mallets and stuff like that, all of those things, when you get hit with it, that's like hate crime type stuff. And there's no evidence of them having any type of quorums. There's no text messages. There's no like back and forth of that there was a major issue prior to that situation. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, is Fort Hood covering up some shit? Now, on some real stuff. As a former military warrant officer, I'm like, is Fort Hood covering up some shit? Because if she said she was being sexually harassed, she told her family, I'm being sexually harassed. Let me tell you this real quick. For anybody that's in the military, they know a few things. And one of those things is that if you are reported for sexual harassment or sexual assault, that's an investigation automatic. That's an investigation automatic. So that means they have the name of who Vanessa said was sexually harassing her. So I'm trying to figure out, why hasn't that been disclosed yet? What's the cover up for? Who are you trying to protect? Then all of a sudden you get this young black man. I believe he was a PFC or specialist, right? You get this guy in a room with CID agents and you sit him down and you interrogate him. No lawyer, right? Probably didn't have his parents, right? Probably didn't have anybody there with him to advocate for him. Okay? So I'm trying to get this across. Let me tell you something, man. There is something called the good old boy system in the military. And if you don't know about it, let me explain to you what the good old boy system is. The good old boy system works very quickly. Okay? It works very quickly and is very strategic. All right, we talk about racism, and we sometimes, when we put on our uniform and we salute the flag and we do all of those great, magnificent things, and we say this is a wonderful country and everybody should love and cherish it, and all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter. But in the military, racism is alive and well. Is alive and well. Okay? I've definitely seen racism stare me in the face. I definitely understand how you can get a young soldier and put them in a predicament where you say, you're guilty because we said you're guilty. And we're going to line up everything we need to line up to make you guilty. Let me tell you something. I don't believe that black soldier killed Vanessa. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I could be wrong. There could be more information. But I don't see the motive behind it. I don't see what they said to be the motive behind it. So what? You gonna tell that I'm sleeping with somebody who used to be in the military? So what? Her husband used to be in the military, so I'm gonna hit you in the head with a hammer? Do you take us to be stupid or something? Do we not look like we have common sense? And for you to be a 2-star general and get out in front of goddamn Fort Hood talking about, oh yeah, you know, he did it and we're still investigating it. Let me tell you something. I believe that young man killed himself out of fear. I believe that CID, I believe Texas Rangers, I believe all of those people that was in that press conference set that boy down, right? And they scared the shit out of that boy. And once again, he didn't have money for a lawyer. He didn't have any family members to call to get him money for a lawyer. And he was an African-American young man that was sitting inside harm's way, that was staring racism in the face, and they were saying, you guilty. It's ironic when they said that he was guilty, though. It's ironic when they said, okay, well, yeah, you know, they cut him off and he had a gun, so he killed himself. Why? Why? And now they have this female in custody that he was dealing with that says, I'm going to now confess to all the stuff that, or I'm going to give you the breakdown of how this thing went. And I'm just like, this black man can't speak for himself. You're now pinning a murder on him. There are hashtags saying, I am Vanessa. Say her name. Now let's break down a few things, y'all. Let's break down a few things. I want y'all to share this because I want to have this conversation. I want to have this tough conversation. First of all, to all victims of sexual assault and sexual harassment, my heart goes out to you. That is something that should be taken seriously, and people need to act accordingly when they're investigating it. I know some magnificent people that are sexual assault responders, first responders when these type of situations happen, that was in the military and still in the military, and they are excellent people. Salute to you guys. But I also know, depending on who you are, is how much noise the system is going to make, if that makes sense. So this message goes to all of the soldiers that may be in a situation that feel that their voices won't be heard. Okay? If you feel that you're in that situation, if you feel that my sergeant is harassing me, my sergeant is touching me inappropriately, or giving cat calls, or putting me in a bad situation, I'm telling you right now, you use your first line supervisor. And if the first line supervisor does nothing, go outside your chain of command. Go outside your chain of command. Because I'm telling you right now, the good old boy system is real. There should be zero tolerance for drugs in the military. Zero tolerance for sexual assault and sexual harassment in the military. So therefore, if nothing happens and you say, I have a legitimate concern, I have a legitimate complaint, and no one does anything about it, soldiers, airmen, Marines, Coast Guard, Navy personnel, airmen, go outside your chain of command. That's the reason why Vanessa's story is so big. That's the reason why her story is so big, because when she told her supervisor did nothing. It could have been her supervisor. You got to think about, and I'm going to lay this picture out for you guys. Soldiers, 20 years old, young, in the military, fresh in the military, whatever it can be. You just don't. That sounds like a crime of passion. I'm going to beat you with a hammer until you're dead. Where's the blood? Did he bring a change of clothes? Did he change his clothes and then go to his car? Where's the blood in the arms room? Was the arms room empty? Was it full of weapons? What was happening that day that allowed him to be in the arms room with this soldier? It's so many questions. But the fact of the matter is, you're telling me that this black boy, this young soldier, was so strategic that he killed her with a hammer, cleaned the blood up, or threw the weapon inside there with, I don't know, but he cleaned all the blood up, had a change of clothes, and was able to leave out of a unit full of people and nobody saw nothing. Huh? What did that soldier, what did the murderer see? What was he involved in? Was there something else going on? Did she confide in that soldier and say, you know what, such and such is harassing me, or such and such sexually assaulted me? Did he know? Did he know? He might have found out some information that day. Now think about this. Let's talk about if there was a conspiracy, possibly. Let's say someone in her chain of command was doing something to her. She tells the person that they say killed her, but she confiding in him. She said, you know what, such and such is doing X, Y, and Z to me. He like, oh shit, hell no, we need to do something, X, Y, and Z, yada, yada, yada. The person that's doing the assault walks in and see both of them talking about it. He leaves. Then, all of a sudden, she gets murdered. They put her in the trunk. I don't know. And then when things started to come out, now all of a sudden the fingers being pointed at the person that she told. So now we pull this young black man in without a lawyer. And I can guarantee it, the minute that CID pointed their finger at his ass and said, he's a suspect, the chain of command turned his back on him. I guarantee it. And if anybody get on here talking about that's not how it works, that's not, you lying like a motherfucker. Let your ass be suspected of being in trouble and see what happened. Not guilty of anything, but suspected. So I can guarantee you that as soon as the chain of command identified this soldier as a suspect, or the law, CID or whoever, identified the soldier as a suspect, they pulled this young black man in and set his ass down and gave him the rigmarole. Gave him the okie doke. Gave him the racial scenario. They were going to charge that black boy. They were going to charge him based on, one, closing out the case, or two, just to scare him. They probably said some shit to this black man to scare him. They probably didn't have nothing on him. Didn't have nothing. And somebody in the unit, somebody that didn't like him, probably was hating him, was like, oh yeah, he was over there with her. And all of a sudden his name came up. I'm not believing that bullshit. I'm not believing. This is what's happening to young soldiers in the military. And I want to let you guys know this, so that way, if you have young soldiers or young children in the military, you understand. Let me tell you something. There are not a lot of good leaders out there. I'm going to make that clear right now. There are not a lot of good leaders in the military. You do have some. You do have some. But what I'm saying is, it's not a lot of leaders that will go to bat. If CID says your soldier is guilty of something, ain't no leader jumping in front of them talking about hell no. You see what I'm saying? That's a rarity. So when you find soldiers, you find leaders that protect their soldiers, that make sure, whether bad or good, they're fair and impartial. That's a rarity. And I'm telling you right now, if you are a minority soldier in the military, you need to watch your ass. You need to watch your ass, because this is what happens. When you're suspected of something, I see some warrant officers jumping on here. When you're suspected of something, what happens is, before the ink is dry, you're already given punishment to a certain extent. Now in the military, they have something there are several ways to give a soldier punishment. Somebody would say, oh, this is administrative punishment or administrative action. See what I'm saying? So there are several ways to manipulate the situation or whatever. There's so much to talk about when you talk about the good old boy system in the military, but I really feel like this particular incident was a good old boy situation. Something happened within that chain of command where that soldier said, hey, I'm being harassed. Okay, someone in this chain of command is doing something to me that is inappropriate and unacceptable, and there's a zero tolerance for it, so I need help. And she made her report. She told her family. Ironically, after this black man dies, now all of a sudden this black man is the number one suspect, and he's done all of this diabolical shit, and nobody was able to catch it. It just seems odd. And then you got this Caucasian white girl who looked like she's on drugs, look like she'll say anything to either get off or whatever the case may be. And I want you guys to follow that. I want you to follow what she's charged with, how long she does jail time, or does she get immunity for telling the police what they wanted to hear. I'm telling you right now, if you have young soldiers and you're allowing them to go and sit with CID or sit with goddamn senior enlisted because they got bars, they got diamonds, they got clusters, they got all of this other bullshit, and you allow them to be manipulated, you allow them to take punishment that they didn't do, shame on you. I said what I said and I meant it. Shame on you. The fact of the matter is, you don't have a lot of leaders fighting for their soldiers because they're trying to make the next rank. So they're not going to say shit. They're not going to do anything to ruffle any feathers. They're not going to say, this shit sounds wrong, this shit is racist. They're going to be quiet so they can get their next fucking star, their next fucking dot, or whatever the case may be. They're going to sit back and say, well, I'm just going to do what I need to do on a 9 to 5. But then you got some people that are staying in harm's way. You got some people that say, that shit don't sound right. And for those leaders, let me talk to you. We understand the good old boy system. Now, some leaders won't come publicly live and say that, but we understand it. It's an unspoken truth. It's an unspoken rule. But do we have good leaders? Hell yeah, we got good leaders. Hell yes, we got good leaders. But see, here's the thing. We have more bad leaders than good leaders. We have more people in positions to manipulate situations than good leaders. The good old boy system is alive and doing very well. Alive and doing very well. I truly believe that when this young man that was alleged to be killed Vanessa, I believe that CID pressed him. If you've never been pressed by the police and they pull you out of the blue and they sit you in a room, they make it real cold, so you want some coffee? One play good cop, the other play bad cop. Nobody's around. Not a first sergeant, not a lieutenant, not an ex. Nobody's around. And that soldier is sitting there and letting this sergeant first class or staff sergeant or whatever rank they are, right? Talk shit to him. I'm going to ruin your life. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or not. When we investigate people, how many people have ever seen a CID investigation where they said, oh no, we was wrong. My bad. I'm waiting. Now I'm reading comments. Now I'm reading fucking comments. If they allege that you did something and they inform your chain of command that you're a suspect, how many people have received punishment before the investigation was over? Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, God forbid if this suspect that allegedly did something was an officer or an NCO. How many people know for a fact that they would have received punishment before the investigation was finished? The only reason that they sped this up, the only reason that it was sped up, because right now the soldier would be flagged. And let me tell you what a flag is. A flag keeps you from, one, getting promoted, two, leaving the duty station, and three, it basically halts any type of transition in reference to going to schools or whatever case may be, right? So they put this flag on this person. So I can guarantee you that when they decided to have a conversation with this young man, they probably already flagged him. And I guarantee he felt the stress and the burden of saying, well, damn, they think I'm guilty. What do you do when you ain't got nobody to turn to? I'm talking to you, leaders. What do you do when you don't have anybody in the military to turn to? Because everybody you talking to, one, probably don't look like you. That's one. And then two, they don't have any rank or no pull. And then you got leaders that stand in front of you that ain't gonna fucking jump in harm's way. Then they tell you, oh, well, this is what they tell you. This is what they telling soldiers. What you need to do as a soldier is you need to go to JAG. Oh, shit. You're suspected of doing a crime or a murder, and you need to go to JAG, which is our counterparts over here. The people that we have tea with, we go golfing with, we went to school together, college together. That's my fraternity brother. That's my sorority sister. I want you to go over here to Mike. And when you get over there to Mike, you tell Mike, okay, how you feel about this situation. And Mike is going to type this up very nice and neat and professional, and he's going to give it to the commander. And the commander is going to decide if you're guilty or innocent. And the commander says, come on in here. And you stand in front of the commander with a piece of paper basically telling you that, you know what, I'm falling on my sword. How dare I disrespect the Army values? Sir, you're right. I should have known better. But you're taking this piece of paper to somebody saying that you're guilty of something that you're not guilty of, but you don't have the legal representation to actually say, hey, fuck you. I ain't about to fall on no sword. You can kiss my ass. How about that? We ain't having that shit. That's the problem. It's a lot of minority soldiers who get in fucking trouble, and that shit is escalated. I'm telling you right now, sitting as a goddamn first sergeant. When I tell you soldiers was getting goddamn, the hammer put to their ass. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. We didn't do that to this other soldier. I'm not going to allow you to just fucking make an example. Wait a minute. The same exact shit. If we going to punish people, we punish people fair and impartially. That's how we do this shit. And it's so many people. Let me tell you something. You have, just like you say, we need to have policing up the black neighborhood. We have these same people that have never encompassed or dealt with soldiers that talk loud. You know, they got a swag to them that come from these urban communities. And what happens is when they get into the military, they transition through basic training, they transition through AIT, which is advanced individual training, and they go to their first duty station. These people are now so excited that they got freedom, they got their cars now, you know, they can go, you know, do whatever they really want to, as long as they come to work, you know what I'm saying, do what they're supposed to do as good soldiers. But it's just like, wow, these commanders are sitting back. These young commanders, now I have bars. I can tell people what to do now. First time you get in trouble, hammered. I'm kicking you out. I'm busting you down. Lack of leadership. Lack of knowledge on how to deal with situations. Think about this. If you are from a suburb, let's say, you know, your parents never argued, or everything was peaches and cream. You never really seen any type of aggression or violence to a certain extent, or whatever the case may be. How do you mandate and mitigate situations that you know nothing about? Facts. Facts. You're going to people's homes telling them, oh, well, if y'all two is arguing, now one of y'all got to leave. Who got to leave? The army or the military as a whole, the entire military is not flawed. There are people in the military that uses the military guidelines and rules and regulations to manipulate situations. Okay? Do we have seniors going or preying on young soldiers that are committing these acts of harassment and sexual assault? Yeah. That's documented. That's documented. That's a fact. How do we get help for these soldiers? Where do they go to speak out? Because here's the thing. A lot of times you have the sexual assault correspondent, the one at the lowest level, the one at the company level, you report to them. Those people are a part of the chain of command. It's not a separate entity. Those people are a part of the chain of command. Now, will someone say, well, I know for a fact this person has been sexually assaulted or sexually harassed, and can they alter the investigation? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. They can. So that needs to be a separate entity. That needs to be something separate where your chain of command you're not responsible for me getting promoted. I'm telling you right now, when I say motherfuckers are scary, motherfuckers are scary. Do you understand? I've literally went to bat for soldiers that wasn't my soldiers because their leaders were too scared to say something because they were so worried about getting their next fucking promotion. And what's so funny about it, a lot of them have been promoted. A lot of them have been promoted. So if you're valuing that your young child or your young soldier that you know is in the military and they're protected and X, Y, and Z, I'm telling you to reach out to those soldiers. I'm telling you to reach out to your children and have a tough conversation. Are you okay? I have a brother right now that is in AIT, doing very well. But when I talk to him, it ain't all shits and giggles. Are you okay? Because if he tells me something's going down, I'm coming. And when I come, goddammit, I'm bringing hell with me. I'm bringing hell with me. The fact of the matter is, one, people don't know their rights. So they allow people to just do them any type of way. You're not just going to pull one of my young soldiers, or you're not going to pull one of my children in a room and interrogate them when they don't know their legal rights. Hell, it's some adults that don't know their legal rights. Got them signing paperwork and shit like they guilty of some shit and they don't even fucking know. And then you put it in their records and then you say, okay, well, I'm up for promotion. Well, you got this paperwork in your records that say there's a lot of great people in the military. A lot of standards and structures that I respect, appreciate. But there is a good old boy system in the military. And if you want to be successful, then you don't rub the good old boy system the wrong way. That's just facts. Some people would probably say, well, that's with any job, Mario. Well, this job, the military is international. It's international. This ain't McDonald's, even though McDonald's is international. But the fact of the matter is, it's more prestigious. Should you be proud to wear that uniform? Hell yeah, you should be proud to wear that uniform. I was so surprised that I seen the Sergeant Major saying, I am Vanessa, say her name, in uniform, promoting this slogan, because I would think that, if that was a soldier, they'd be throwing a hammer at her, telling her to be quiet. Hey, you can't do X, Y, and Z. But I'm glad that she was able to do it. As far as I know, didn't get in trouble for it. I was tagged in the photo and was like, hey, what did I think about it? Do I think that military personnel should be allowed to support other organizations or slogans such as that? I believe that awareness needs to be brought. I believe awareness needs to be brought to the public's eye, because if you do not bring awareness, then these things go unchecked. These things go unchallenged. And I believe that there are soldiers right now that are in that same position as Vanessa was, that don't know how to get help, because the person that they're supposed to go to, that representative for Sharp at the company level, they know that they're buddy-buddy with the commander. So they don't feel like anything would happen. Have you ever been against the odds, people? Have you ever had your back against the wall where you didn't have anybody to support you? This is what the fuck I'm talking about right now. And this is what soldiers are facing. If they are in a predicament where they don't know who to turn to, because if they turn to the wrong person, they're going to get ignored. There's going to be a level of retaliation. They won't get promoted. They're going to be deemed as the black sheep of the unit. This is my message. This is my message. For those people that's in the military, say, hey, look, I'm just trying to ride my time to retirement. I ain't really trying to shake no, whatever. You don't personally have to do a goddamn thing, but get that soldier to the right place. Get them to the right person to get them help. This is a failure of leadership. That's what this is. This is a failure of letting soldiers know what's available and how to get the information, so that way they don't feel like something's going to happen to me if I say something. This is a breakdown of leadership. Everybody in Fort Hood, every Marine, every airman, every sailor, every Coast Guard, everybody right now should be looking at this situation saying, let me have a conversation with my staff, my seniors, my subordinates. Let me talk to y'all and let's make sure that these soldiers understand this is a zero tolerance, and don't just fucking give them a lot of lip service. Do something about it. Because if it was your daughter that was in a situation like this, you'd be in an uproar. You'd be on fucking Facebook Live crying and shit. But you never asked them, are you okay? You didn't call to check on them. People need help. People need help. I definitely was a victim of racism in the military. Definitely, but I fought it because I knew how to fucking fight back legally, mentally. You're not going to put me in a room and say, well, you're guilty. Bullshit. Bullshit. Let's go. Let's go. But I watch people stand beside me. I watch people stand over me like, well, I hope you make it through that, player. So I can just imagine what this young black man was sitting in a room listening to a whole bunch of white people, because I didn't see no black investigators, I didn't see no black chain of command, a whole bunch of people that come from wherever. Let's throw the book at him. And I can guarantee that chain of command turned their back on that boy. And he felt like he had no other choice. I'm telling you right now, contact your local military installation. Check with the division equal opportunity advisor. And also JAG. And look at the minorities that get in trouble versus the Caucasian soldiers. And see if there's a spike. See how the punishment is handed out for the same exact crimes or the same exact whatever. See how it is. I'm telling you right now, the last time I actually looked at it, when I actually cared about it, when I was in actually Korea, astronomical. Astronomical. I had young black lieutenants getting kicked out the military because they were 5 minutes late after curfew in the goddamn Korea. But I also had Caucasian lieutenants that didn't get kicked out because they were a part of the good old boy system. Facts. Facts. Have you ever heard somebody begging and pleading like, hey, you know, it's only 5 minutes. Please, sir, give me another chance or whatever. I felt sorry for this black man. I felt sorry for this young lieutenant. It ain't really had shit to do with me. I'm just saying, goddamn. He was like, yo, man, I need help. I need help. I need help. I need help. That's the same shit as somebody saying, I can't breathe. And this is the military. It's a lot of people that won't help you. Do you understand that? Right now, as we talk about all of the civil rights movements that's happened, this second wave, human rights or whatever, I go to people's pages deliberately, seniors in the fucking military right now, that say nothing about it. Say shit about it. It's sad. It's fucking sad. It's sad. So if you are a part of an organization where you can't say shit is wrong, shit is fucked up, that's the wrong organization to be a part of. Huh? That's the wrong organization to be a part of. When you sit back and you allow things to happen where you cannot change policies because you're too afraid to speak up. You're more worried about, let me get the boss some coffee. Let me get the boss some donuts. Let me ask the boss, how was his weekend? As long as you check the block, I get it. Some people are saying, man, this is my livelihood. I ain't trying to mess that shit up. I get it. I understand it. And I don't fault you for being afraid, but I worry about you for being afraid. Because my thing about it is when you need help, when you need assistance, who's going to be there for you if everybody's scared to say something? Huh? If Malcolm X, if Martin Luther King, if all of these other civil rights people were scared to say something and scared to take action, where the fuck will we be? Black women, black men, you wouldn't be able to vote. There would have been no civil rights movement if they were scared to do something. If Rosa Parks was scared to sit in the front of the bus. All of these things of people being unafraid, and even if they were unafraid, they still did it. They still did it. They still took action. So the question is right now, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? If you in the military, make sure that you protecting the soldiers. Period. Make sure that you protect. I don't give a fuck what rank you is. I don't care what your status is and how it looks on fucking paper. If you in the military, protect the soldiers. That's the future. Those are the future leaders. Protect them. Teach them. Stop worrying about the good old boy system and provide an army system or a military system that actually works to support people. I'm challenging you to be unafraid. I'm challenging you to speak up. The same way you can stand on a podium and accept a fucking award for being this of the month or this of the year or this of the quarter or this of this and it, is the same way you need to stand in front of those soldiers and say, if there's trouble, come find me. Come find me. We're outnumbered. we're outmanned, we're outgunned. So we gotta outsmart people. We gotta outsmart people. If you think that the legal system of the military is just, it's fair and impartial, it's not. And depending on who you are and how much noise you're willing to make, that's the only thing that evens it out. That's the only thing that evens it out. Mario J, y'all adult up. Share. Let me know what you feel. Holla.